Hey, this is your boy Reginald Gant, founder of Serve for Men. Just wanted to come and drop this quick message since it's been sitting on my spirit. As I was spending some time reading in Mark chapter 10 this morning, over the last couple of days, I came across the story of a blind beggar. The Bible records his name as blind Bartimaeus. Now, I just want to start off by saying that, blind Bartimaeus, he's not really any different than many of us, honestly, as believers. Now, physically blind Bartimaeus, he didn't have any sight. But if we scale back and if we want to look at things from a spiritual level, I would venture to say that many of us as believers are just like Bartimaeus, right? We're blind. We can't see the things that are going on around us, right? We're blind to what God is doing in the spirit. Naturally, we may have sight, but spiritually, we are blind. So, excuse me, we're no different than Bartimaeus in that sense, right? But the Bible records that he heard that Jesus was near, right? And as we often do, right, we hear, that Jesus is a friend that sticks closer than a brother, right? We read scriptures that say that, God will never leave us nor forsake us. So just like Bartimaeus, he heard that Jesus is near. Many of us as Christians, we've heard all our lives that Jesus is near. But when he heard that Jesus was near, he shouted out loud. And I love that. He shouted out loud, but voices tried to shush him. There were voices that tried to quiet him down, but he shouted even louder. And that's symbolism for us as well, because guess what? When we hear sometimes that Jesus is near, there are also voices going on around us, sometimes even voices within us that try to hush us, that try to shush us, right? Could it be the voice of doubt? Could it be the voice of fear? Maybe rejection, maybe shame, the voice of disappointment, right? We hear that Jesus is near, but voices are now suddenly starting to pop up and trying to hush us. They're trying to quiet our voice. They're trying to get us not to activate our voice. But what I love about what Bartimaeus did was that he shouted anyway. Instead of quieting down, he got louder. And that's a true example as to how we should respond to the voices in our lives when Jesus is near. If we can hear or sense that Jesus is near, we should be raising our voice so that the Father can hear us. We shouldn't allow any other voice to shush us. Now, what I love about this next part is that Jesus heard him. Jesus tells him to come, right? Again, scripture records, right? Jesus says, "Come to me, all ye who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." But in order for somebody to say come, they have to be within proximity, right? There has to be some kind of relationship there in order for somebody to say come. Jesus tells us as believers to come. But in the situation of blind Bartimaeus, he heard that Jesus was near proximity. He shouted, he used his voice activation. Jesus heard, Jesus told him to come. And just as he encourages us to come, all who are weary and heavy laden, and he will give us rest, Jesus asked Bartimaeus a question. And that's a question that you and I need to wrestle with. That's a question that we need to settle within our spirits. And the question that Jesus asks is this. It says, "What do you want me to do for you?" We need to have clarity around that question. Because when we're praying, in essence, that's the essence of our prayers. Jesus asked, "What do you want me to do for you?" Do you know what you want God to do for you today, tomorrow, in this season? If Jesus is calling you and he's saying, "Come," and he's asking, "What is it that you want me to do?" Do you know what that is? Have you spent time with the Father thinking about what that is, right? And this is a representation again of our prayers. Jesus wants to know, what can he do for us? But are we clear? And Bartimaeus, he was super clear, extra clarity, right? He simply said, I want to see. And in essence, guess what? My brothers, my sisters, fellow believers, even those who are watching who may not be a believer yet, his response is no different than our response. Blind Bartimaeus said that I want to see. He wanted to physically see, but he had no sight. And many of us, we desire to see spiritually, and we have sight. So he wanted to see, but just as believers, we also want to see. Be encouraged by this story. If Jesus is asking you, what do you want me to do for you? Be clear. He wanted to see. What do you want to see in this season of your life? Talk to you soon.